You need to get paid. Let's make it look really good with Moxie's invoices. You're going to start in your accounting from the left nav, and let's begin by getting everything set up so your invoice looks exactly the way that you want it to. You go to invoice templates, and we'll have a default template built for you, or you can start with a new template. So you can see you can add an image. We've got kind of this text here, and within this text, because this is a template, you don't want to just type in like, oh, this is invoice number one. You're going to use a token. So it's going to pull the next invoice number based on your sequence. So you're going to use, here are all of the tokens available. It would take probably forever to go through and explain what each of these are. But we'll just say generally, this refers to your account. So this is your information. This refers to the invoice information. Here is, of course, your client information, contact information that's related to that client. And you can kind of see I've got in here some of my custom fields as well. Okay, so you can see here's another example of how I am using all of that token information. Okay, so I've got my tokens. You can add text, you can add an image, you've got your logo, and then line items. That's kind of the big piece that, of course, is important about your invoice. So here is a line item, and this is how it shows up. You can turn on and off the appropriate columns. So if you don't bill on a quantity, you can take that off. If you don't include tax, you can take that out. You can add in whether or not you want to show detailed time entries. So if your client really wants to see like, oh, where did you spend your time and what notes did you have, you can have detailed time entries, or you can turn those off. So you can see here, I've got my hours, the dates, my task, and some notes. But if they just want to see the hours that I've worked, I can turn that off and you can just show them the rate and the total, right? And there's the quantity for those. Here's time. You can round to 2 decimal points. You can choose a bit different with your layout, add some padding, make this look exactly like you want to. And then all of these labels are editable. So if you want to change the language, if you want to add something differently in here, all of these labels, let's call this taxi. For example, you can see that that label is in here appropriately. So all of that you can write and make kind of your own, and then you can set this as your default template, or you can create several different templates depending on each client or however you want that to look. So that's your invoice template. The other thing that you want to get set up is in your workspace settings, and then you're going to go to preferences and then invoices. So here is where some of the back end of your invoices is getting set up. So if you want to send invoice reminders, you can do that. You can turn those on or off. You've got your Stripe card processing fees. If you've got Stripe integrated, you can add in the PDF or email locale if you want here. This use A4 page size on a PDF invoice. So if you have a really long invoice, but your client is maybe going to print that off, you can just use this A4 and then it will give kind of the appropriate page breaks there. Here is where the email templates are going to live that send your invoice. So when you send a new invoice, if you share it via your Moxie email, there'll be an email template there. You can write that, and then here is where you choose what the template is. So you would drop that down and choose there. You can update your payment confirmation email. Your due date is coming. That will send a day before your invoice is due, and past due notification. Here you've got your payment instructions. If you want to choose that for every single invoice, you can type it in here, and then you'll use your invoice token to use the payment instructions in the invoice. Here's where you can set up your invoice numbering. You can click here and you can change unique numbers. You can change how you want it to start counting. You can add a sequence per each client. You can have it reset on your fiscal year. And then if you need compliance settings, here are some areas for you to add in your header text, and you can add in your tax preferences here as well. So the other place you are going to manage your invoices, it is going to be depending on how you bill. So within each client and within each project, you can set up how this project is going to be billed. So we've got our project fee type. So I've opened my project. Here are the different fee types, whether you bill hourly, on a fixed price, or recurring, or per item. So that would mean in this project, you could mix all of the tasks based on how you're charging for them. So let's say you're writing a blog, you chose per item here. And then in your blog, you could say, I'm going to charge, let's see, I'm going to charge a certain amount per word. So in this case, I'm charging $1 per word. And then in this blog, I've got 1,000 words. So now here is my cost for that invoice. So recapping, you're going to set up in your workspace settings and preferences. Here's the back end of your invoices, how they are going to look. Under accounting and invoice templates, that's where you are going to set up what your invoice template looks like. And then within each client and within each project, that's where you are going to set up how much you are getting paid on those invoices. More about how you can add items to invoices in our next video.